This video is going to transform the way that you run your agency over the next 30 days. And I have gone into so much detail in this document. So it doesn't matter if you're a complete beginner or you're someone watching this video who's doing 10, 20, 30, 40K a month even with your agency, because there will be some nuggets of information for everyone. I've spent so much time to make sure that this accommodates for absolutely everyone. And we're going to be covering positioning and mindset, internal infrastructure, offer creation, client acquisition, delivery systems, optimization and scaling, and so much more. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Dan. I've been in the agency space for over 10 years now. I've scaled multiple successful agencies, and I also run Client Capital, where we've helped over 150 guys achieve time, location, and financial freedom. And make sure you strap in for this video because it is going to be a long one. So let's jump straight into it. Finding the problem to actually fix. Now, most struggling agency owners like you watching this video share the same underlying problems, but you need to get clear on them so you can actually make that change. Now, some of these problems, if you're just starting out, you won't even know what they are. But if you're someone that's doing 10, 20, 30K a month, you will know all about these problems. But even if you are just starting out, document these problems anyway, because you're going to face them. So it could be operational issues. It could be offer challenges. It could be acquisition problems. It could be delivery problems. And all you've got to understand when you're building a business, it's very much about problem solving. So if we can identify the bottlenecks in our industry straight away and in our business, then we can start to work out how we can improve our processes to make sure that we don't have these issues anymore. So let's have a look at some of the most common ones. And the reason why I say the most common ones, these are ones from my businesses, so you guys can follow along and realize that these are common issues. So no documented processes, tasks completed differently each time. So there might not be a SOP in place. You're needed everywhere. You might get pulled in all sorts of different directions. So you might have a team that want you on every call to wrap up a sales call or an onboarding call or with a client, whatever it is. No proper organization of work. You might have offer challenges, okay, which is going to affect your acquisition, but unclear value proposition, changing deliverables all the time. You're confusing the client with the journey, the process. You might be selling your time rather than actually selling outcomes and systems, okay? So you might be like having this freelancer mindset. You might have acquisition problems, which is the biggest one, right? No consistent lead generation. You might do little or zero content whatsoever. You might have no planned outreach, no proper tracking of conversations or conversions, weak follow-up or no follow-up process. So there's so many things here that are going to really break that acquisition bottleneck. Delivery problems. So onboarding varies from client to client. You don't have a standardized onboarding process, which means that you can't outsource it and you're the face of the business and you're doing it every single day. You might set really unclear expectations, which are leading to more disputes or clients that are on your ass chasing you every single day. You might have irregular communication. They might be messaging you on WhatsApp or Discord or Telegram, whatever you use, right? And it might just be consistently annoying. Sunday night at like 8 p.m, your client's messaging you on WhatsApp, hey Dan, what's the update? We don't want that, right? Or unstructured reporting. There's no reporting in place. Reporting is what keeps clients happy, that customer success, that retention, so that we can then eventually upsell. Now, I can guarantee that every single person watching this video or reading this document has at least 5 of the above problems, okay? So take some time. I'll go here so you can take a screenshot of this. If you do want this document, I'm going to put it in the link in the description anyway, so that you guys can copy and paste it, whatever you need to do. But yeah, make sure you take a screenshot here and work out where your problems are. And like I said, if you're a complete beginner and you don't have any of these problems yet, well, you will definitely have acquisition problems. But if you don't have any of these other problems yet, you know what to face, okay? You know what's going to come. Now, this is more aimed at the complete beginners now. You're going to define your niche, even if it's only temporary, okay? So you do not need a lifelong niche. That is a big misconception in the agency space. So a lot of people are spending 8 bloody weeks finding niche, right? You don't need to do that. You simply need clarity for the next 90 days, all right? So you're going to choose a segment based on your existing experience. If you're someone with experience in one specific niche, that's your niche. Industry access. Do you have any connections? Do you have a network? Do you have someone in your family that works in that niche? Have you done some niche testing before? Okay, have you worked in this industry before? Have you done any type of niche testing, whether it's market research calls or ran some ads in it? Your total addressable market, is it even worth you targeting this niche? Do you have people there to sell to? Where can you deliver results quickly? All right, what's the common pain point in that niche? where people are actively spending money, okay? And then if you are in client capital, check out the list of 78 niches in the onboarding module so you can access all of these. Then, just to G us up, ready for the offer creation section, we should create a simple niche sentence. And this is just going to drill it into your brain, right? We help a specific audience achieve specific result using specific method. And in this document, we talk about unique mechanisms and why they're so important and what methods you can use so that we can understand selling the destination and not the travel. But just understand that if you get this sentence drilled into your head, then you will do so much better. And again, stop spending 8 bloody weeks on finding your niche. Then we need to clarify the transformation that you actually provide. So clients purchase a change in their situation, not a list of tasks, right? So what I want you to do is focus on the before state and the after state. So describe, where is that client right now? What is their situation? What's their current situation? Where do they want to be? And then what's your method for taking them there? An example of this, your client might have inconsistent leads. Where do they want to be? They want to have a predictable and measurable lead flow that actually convert so they can make more money. And your method for taking them there is a structured inbound system that's predictable, reliable, and scalable. Okay. So you just need to clarify that transformation you provide when it comes to understanding your niche and understanding your ideal customer profile. Now, we need to still look at removing the immediate founder bottlenecks, okay? Because everything that is going to take your time away from you, then you need to find out what that's going to be. Because as a founder, we have to juggle hundreds of different things on a daily basis. And some of the things we suck at, right? So we need to find out, like, what are the barriers that we can remove in the early stages of our business? So which tasks are we repeating consistently, right? Is it weekly? Is it daily? Is it monthly? It doesn't really matter, right? Which tasks could be documented? So how can we document all of these tasks and create some systems, some SOPs? And actually in this document, I talk about a knowledge hub, which you guys will understand in a second, right? Which questions clients ask repeatedly. So if clients are always asking the same question, that means we have a bottleneck, right? And we need to be able to document these tasks so future parts of the system can rely on consistency rather than memory. And this is really going to help you when it comes to actually hiring and scaling. And again, when we talk about hiring, scaling, we need some internal infrastructure, okay? This stage creates the operational backbone used for delivery, communication, and growth. I really recommend Slack. I know some people use other communication platforms, but the reason why I recommend Slack is we can use so many different automations and we can use Zapier to integrate things like the cash calculator here that we have in our team. So again, when a deal gets through Stripe, it will send it out into the deals closed channel. And that means all of the team members will celebrate. It improves that team culture, right? Because as much as an agency doesn't feel like a sales culture, it is. We have to sell, we have to get deals. That's the way it goes. All right. So it's going to become the central location for all internal communication. And this is going to prevent you getting messages on WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, whatever, from people in your team, clients, whatever. Okay. Now you can build this out as you wish. You do not have to copy this, but this is just like a baseline that you can use, right? You can have a general channel. You've got some announcements. So team announcements, team updates, general chat, resources. So your payment links, your SOPs. You might have some changes in the business that you want to put in here, right? And you can update it and it stops you from like messaging every single person individually. Sales, calls booked. Okay. You can have an integration from Go High Level that is going to automate that. So that's going to motivate your setting team, for example, or your closing team, because they're going to see like 30 calls booked in a day. They're going to be like, wow, like this is great. Everything's going well. Daily follow-ups. Okay. You can create automations to remind you to do your follow-ups. Deals closed. Like I spoke about, the cash calculator, the setters and closers chat. You can separate this if you want, but again, you want them to communicate. You want every single like gap in your business to have a bridge over it. Client delivery. So the tasks assigned, progress updates, reporting reminders, urgent client requests. Each channel should also contain a pinned message to create discipline and remove confusion. Okay. The one thing you don't want is people just messaging in any channel, whatever they think. Okay. We need to keep this structured. We need to keep this monitored. Then we go on to building our central knowledge hub. And I mentioned this just above because I think it's really important. A lot of big businesses have like encyclopedias, right? Which is crazy. And you do actually need this in order to scale. Now, you don't have to go as crazy as a multi 9-figure company, right? But what we do need to do is have this central knowledge hub so that we can go back to things, and it also will allow us to scale. So when we're hiring, we're not repeating ourselves every single day. So a couple of recommended sections that I think work really well in our business is the mission and principles, right? So why your agency even exists. Give a little bit about your story, okay? Because I think team buy into the individual. So you want to make sure that you as a founder has a story and you communicate it with your team so they can really buy into you and they want to actually work there, right? Your values. What are your values? Is it just all about making money, or is it actually about delivering a good service and making a change, right? Which I hope it's the latter. Is it the decision-making rules, okay? You want to be able to talk about your decision-making rules, like how we actually make decisions in the business. Then guides and process documents, okay? So step-by-step descriptions of core activities, links to Loom videos, checklists, setting the standard basically. We're then going to have a template library. So sales scripts, outreach templates, onboarding forms, reports, client update formats, a client folder structure. So every client folder follows the exact same format: discovery notes, access details, reporting documents, meeting notes, deliverables. This is going to create clarity for you and any future team members. So that means when people actually come into the business, they are going to know your process. And this is super important because when you do scale, and I've scaled multiple companies, right? And I will say this, like I've made so many mistakes when it comes to managing a team. This type of thing helps you keep in line so that everyone follows the same process, because otherwise it's like a scattergun approach. Your setters go wild, your closers go wild, your media buyers go wild, and it all just goes a bit crazy. Then you're going to install some practical automations. Now, I'm not going to help you guys build out all of your automations here, but I'm going to tell you some starter automations and intermediate automations that you can implement straight away by watching this video and just doing some simple Googling, right? You do not need to have crazy complex NAN, like crazy automations. You just need like simple GHL workflows that are going to help you, okay? So, new lead triggers a Slack message. This is a really cool one because again, we can then stay on top of our leads. Payment received triggers a welcome email. So this is going to help your client onboarding process. New client triggers folder creation. So that you don't have to create a folder every single time. Recurring tasks are added automatically. Some intermediate automations. So automated follow-ups in CRMs, reporting reminders that are sent out weekly, scheduled updates created automatically. This infrastructure and automations are what makes an agency scalable. Okay. So one of the things that I will recommend to all of you guys is take some time to learn some automations. If you want me to do a video on automations, fine. You can either pay someone to do it or you can learn it yourself, but automate some of the things. And there are some automations that we don't know how to do, right? So we just pay people to do it. Like people that are way smarter than us at doing automations, we just pay them to make it easier for us. Cool. We then go into the next section, which is offer creation. Now, this is arguably the most important one, okay? Because offer creation is going to allow you to be able to align with your core principles for your ICP and actually get clients in the door. So your offer is the engine that genuinely drives sales, the marketing, the delivery, and without clarity here, nothing else works. So you need to define these core principles in your offer, right? And clients should be able to understand the value of your offer within 10 seconds. So you want to define clearly your target audience. Who is your target audience that you're genuinely trying to sell to? The core problem you solve, your approach, the deliverables, the timeline, the support, the price, the expected outcome. And what we've got to focus on is shift from selling services to selling a transformation. So where a lot of agency owners go wrong, and I see this all the time from some of the new members in Client Capital when they first join, is they sell like content creation or paid ads or automations or funnel building. And whilst these are all great things, they're just simply tools. Clients actually want predictable outcomes. So what we need to do is sell the destination and not the journey. So examples of transformation-based positioning, which I've put below. And I've done this for coaches. I've done this for e-com brands. Like you guys, depending on what you do, you might do the IPGA model, you might do SMMA, you might do AI growth consultancy. Like it really doesn't matter, but here's some examples. So we install a consistent inbound lead system for coaches, okay? We help e-commerce brands reduce acquisition costs whilst increasing value. So this one is so much better than this one, right? Because what we're doing is we're explaining what we do, what is the problem that we solve, we reduce the acquisition costs, and we're increasing the revenue. So we're selling the destination here, okay? We also have unique mechanisms down here, which I'm going to talk about a little bit further on down this document, right? But we position founders as visible experts for our done-for-you content engine. Now, transformations sell far faster than task lists, okay? You just want to be able to sell the transformation. So take a moment right now to understand what is your offer in your business. And if you don't know it, well, that might be exactly where you're going wrong. So hopefully this video, just that alone, is going to help you. Now, you want to be able to productize your agency services, all right? So keeping it simple helps you make more money in the long run, because what productization means is creating a repeatable offer with consistent processes, okay? It's going to improve the speed, the delivery, absolutely everything, right? So a single page offer summary, a pricing guide, a visual map of the client journey, a standard onboarding sequence, and a standard reporting format is going to allow you to really understand mentally, what am I going to offer and what can I actually deliver? So this isn't stuff that you have to send out to clients, right? But this is going to be a blueprint for every new client and every new team member when scaling. So again, one of the things that we're focusing on here is actually building this internal infrastructure so that we can productize our agency services and we can start moving in that scalable direction. Now, unique mechanisms. A unique mechanism is super important. And this is more like marketing, right? And I've even given you an example from Client Capital's module, the Capital Framework. So the Capital Framework is our unique mechanism because it helps you master, right? It helps you master the way that you're messaging your product, okay? So it basically builds that credibility, that authority, and it makes them excited, right? They're like, what is the Capital Framework? That sounds great. And this one is how you're going to master outbound. And by the way, the Capital Framework is absolutely insane. So just a quick self plug here. If you're not in Client Capital, click the link below to apply because Client Capital is absolutely insane. Check us out on Trustpilot. We have an insane success rate. Yeah, click below and see if you can apply. Then we move on to client acquisition. So client acquisition is super important, right? And I'm going to only talk about one client acquisition channel here. And the reason why I'm only going to talk about one is because, in my opinion, this is the most effective one, okay? From prior experience, we do multi-six figures a month, by the way, so I can quite confidently tell you this does work. VSL to book a call funnel, all right? Now, there are so many other ways you can acquire clients. Again, have a look inside Client Capital. You'll be able to get all of the different strategies there. And I've done some other videos on my YouTube channel for free as well, where I break down other client acquisition methods. But this is definitely the most powerful one. So this stage is entirely focused on building a simple, predictable, and controllable inbound acquisition system. So no content engine, no lead magnets, no complicated nurturing, just a clear funnel with one purpose, right? And we just need to get our prospect to watch the VSL and book a call. That is it, right? So the strength of this system lies in its simplicity. And don't get me wrong, there are some complex things that we have to do, like having good copy, have a good hero section on our landing page, making sure that we're flooding them with testimonials. But you get the gist. We're keeping it simple. And this is going to fill your calendar with warm, qualified prospects. The funnel has 3 core components: the landing page, the Typeform integration, and the confirmation thank you page and follow-up sequence, okay? And I've even taken a screenshot from Client Capital's landing page that you will see below, right? We practice what we preach here. So this is Client Capital's landing page. It is not the most prettiest landing page, but it's built for conversions. And again, you guys can replicate this for your agency. So your landing page is not a sales page. It's not designed to persuade someone to purchase. Its only purpose is to encourage the visitor to watch the VSL and book the call, all right? And Typeform works really, really well in terms of getting qualified calls in your diary. Then you move on to the one call close. Now, a one call close is not about pressure selling. A lot of people think if you go on a sales call and you try and close someone on the first initial close, that is just about pressure selling. Well, it's really not that. It's about having a clear, structured conversation that helps the prospect understand their situation and decide confidently. You have to remember the leads from your inbound system, book a call funnel above, booked in themselves, all right? So they obviously have buying intent. Otherwise, they wouldn't have booked a call. So I want you guys to follow this simple framework. Introduction. We're going to keep it very authoritative based, all right? So who are we? What do we do? We're then going to frame the call. We're going to explain what the call is about. And we're also going to explain to them towards the end of the call, we're going to get them onboarded. So this is straight away going to tell the prospect, oh shit, I'm on a sales call, but I know then that I'm on a sales call. I'm not just here to get free value, right? We're going to take them out of that. We're going to frame them in the right direction. The first question you're going to ask is, what is it that made you book the call today? So make sure you're asking this question because that is going to give you an immediate pain point. Okay. Now we still have to dig deeper. in terms of finding more pain points, but this is going to fast track that process for us, right? We're going to get to the core of it straight away. Then we're going to do the discovery. So where are they currently? Where are they currently? Now, we need to really look at the pain here. So what is it they're genuinely struggling with that business or that individual? Then where do they want to be? What are their goals? This is kind of like future pacing. The cost of inaction. So what happens if they don't make the change for them or their business? We're then going to bridge that gap with a pitch that's value-based so that we can actually just do a simple matching process, not a closing process. All right. So where do they want to be? How are we going to get them there? Okay. And then objection handle, payment, and onboarding steps. If you want to learn more about closing, I did do a video that I can link below as well in terms of my exact closing framework and script that you guys can use, but it works very well. Then we move on to delivery systems. Delivery determines retentions, referrals, and overall client satisfaction. Okay, so it's really important that we systemize this process, and we're going to build a consistent onboarding experience. Now, one of the things that I've highlighted in red here, I know I'm skipping a little bit, but Hormozy says the first 24 hours of the customer journey is the most important. So listen to him, because Alex Hormozy is the absolute GOAT. If you're not watching his content, go and watch it straight after this because he's insane. Onboarding sets expectations and begins the relationship properly. So try implementing this when you sign a client. A welcome email, a welcome video, onboarding form, access request, kickoff call, 30-day plan, clear communication guidelines, and a reporting schedule. Then what we are going to do is document every delivery process. Now, this is going to prevent confusion, reduce mistakes, and prevent any disputed payments, okay? If we're documenting what we're doing every single day, then they have no reason to think that we're not working. They're going to be happy. It's going to help with that customer success and that retention. Now, some metrics that you could track dependent on your experience are cost to acquire a lead flow, conversion rate, client retention, and churn. Okay, these are really important metrics to be able to scale. Optimizing and scaling. Now, we need to identify the bottlenecks when we're scaling. So right at the start of this document, I said the most important thing about scaling is identifying bottlenecks. Well, I wasn't lying, right? Now we need to review each part of the agency and ask, are there enough leads? Are the sales converting properly? Is delivery smooth and predictable? Are clients satisfied? Are systems breaking anywhere? We need to fix the weakest link first. Scaling is literally solving problems daily, but it's what's needed to get to those six-figure months. Audit your pipeline. A strong pipeline review improves the cash you're printing. Your sales CRM, your GHL, is so important. So make sure that you're doing that. Look at reviewing the below daily, lead volume, booked calls, DQs, deals closed, sales cycle length, follow-up consistency, okay? Then start hiring. But we can talk about that in the next video. Now, if you did make it this far, make sure you subscribe and use the link in my description to be part of the best agency network, Client Capital, and I hope it helped. And I will do another one of these style videos if it gets a couple of hundred views because it means people like it. Take care.